Welcome to my build of the St Margaret's yard in Edinburgh, shed number 64A. Starting from the south side, I've built the turntable and the south side, which had incorporated the main buildings for repairs and dismantlement to the yards along the side of that. The two lighter colour rails are actually the East Coast main line going through the centre of the yard, which I've incorporated a loop at each end which will be hidden, which will allow me to have the East Coast line running in both directions round the circuit, which will then allow me a little fiddler's yard in this section here, as well as the ability to move locomotives and carriages on that line into the fiddler's yard to change to various types of transport. The board is 14 foot long and 4 foot wide. On the north side of the tracks you can see what will be the coal shed, which is raised up, and the main shed lines, which obviously at this stage where I've got the track down and no wiring completed as yet, and there's the small turntable for turning locos down round that go to the sheds. This sixth section of track will be the main sheds. This track was previously laid a few months ago on a combination of boards, but I had that much trouble with locomotives derailing themselves and poor running that I stripped the whole lot off. I had two boards made professionally and have now finished relaying the track. I'm just about to do the joints in the two boards prior to separating it, and the joints will be here right across the track. I've managed to move the points, most points, away from the joint to allow me to do the electrical separation. There's 52 points on the track and I don't know how many metres of track, but as it's been working before, I don't envisage any problems when I separate it and have two boards which are now sitting on the original boards that the railway was built in. As I progress, I'll give you more and more updates as to what and how far it is going. Any information from anyone regarding St Margaret's Yard would be more than welcome. It's my intention to run this circuit or this layout in DCC mode. So if anyone wants to comment or give me some information, the reason I built this was that my father, when I was 6-7 years old, I first visited this yard because my father was a fitter here. I visited later on when I was nearly 12, before the yard shut and my father moved and worked in Miller Hill. So it's been in the back of my mind for a long time, and now that I've retired I have the time, but I didn't realise how big it was going to have to be. But it's being done in N gauge and it'll all be steam, based on the 50s to the 60s before the yard shut. There'll be no stations, it'll all be engine shed when it's completed. Thank you. Look forward to putting the next video up. Today I completed the soldering, cutting and separation of the two boards. Once I tidy up, the next stage will be wiring. I'll do each board individually, but now that the whole lot has been cut, it'll be easier to work on when I separate the boards. And here we have it, a successful separation of the two boards. Well, this concludes part 1 of the building of St Margaret's shed 64A in another shed. Look forward to the second part once electrification's done. This is set up for DCC